I'm ready for a Thursday Throwdown. How about you guys? Hello, everyone. Robert Imbriale here, and joined today by my fabulous co-host, Bruce Poppy. I'll bring him in just a moment. Just want to check to make sure the streams are flowing here because sometimes we have problems. We have a little bit of a technical snafu here, so we're running a moment late. But, you know, it's part of life. All right. Let's see. I don't see that one working yet, but okay. Hey, Bruce is giving me the thumbs up there. We've got him working. Yahoo! All right. We got a lot of crazy stuff to talk about today. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to really enjoy digging into the swamp or wading into the swamp. I think that's what Bruce and I are going to be doing today, and going to come back out and, hopefully we'll survive that one, crazy as it sounds. I did a post on Facebook yesterday, and I said, what have you learned since 2020? And I was kind of curious to see what people would post. I thought this would be kind of fun to see what you guys have learned since the year 2020. 5 years hence now. I guess soon to be 6 years, kind of crazy. But what have you learned? And you know what? The two top things that we learned were trust and authority. People are not trusting authority anymore, and we see that drop quite a bit over the past few years. The other one that I really like is trust in big pharma has gone way down as well, as you're starting to see the games that they've played and the lies, and they've got all these vaccines on the market that nobody's tested. Nobody knows if they're good or bad, and it's coming out more and more that they are no good. Number 3, people wrote, too many lessons to learn. I know some of you are watching the show who posted, I saw that. Too many lessons to learn. You're right. There's a ton of things to learn. And, there's a lot of stuff that happened that surprised many of us as well. Number 4, people were surprised how many people actually worship Satan. The satanic worship. That was kind of a surprise. We didn't think people would go there, and now you're seeing it in pop music. You're seeing it in all the stuff, all the movies, and it's like, wait a minute, we had no idea. But now that curtain has been pulled back, and now we can see a whole lot of that. So we got the ability to see through the lies, and we know that there are still people who can't see through it. And the real lesson here, probably the one that probably is above and beyond anything, is the ability to discern fact from fiction. And a lot of us have got the opportunity to learn because, boy, what a playing field we've had, right? This is kind of nuts. We got to discern. And that was, if you've learned that, you're really in good shape. So just pat yourself on the back if you were able to discern. I know everyone watching this show is, certainly in that group, to discern the difference between good and bad. Boy, what a opportunity it has been. If there's a silver lining, that's probably it. I just want to share this with you. People are talking a lot about the lack of chemtrails. I took this about a half hour ago. If you look to the right where those two white little antennae are, that's the building I'm in. And if you look all the way to the left in the little barn out there, Bruce's RV is parked right behind that. So he not too far away. And let me connect him here real quick, and let's see if we can get him to come in. Boom, he is connected. Bruce, welcome to the program, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Robert, from the other side of your property. Yeah, that little dot way over there on the left, that's me.
We didn't put you there to keep you far away from the house. We put you there because that's where the connections are.
Right, exactly. No, that's excellent. Yeah, I mean, to have connections, be able to plug in, and the sewer and everything. So excellence to you. And you mentioned that thing. What have we learned since 2020? I don't think we got enough time in the show to go down that list, that litany of items. But yeah, 2020 was the thing that busted it open for so many people.
So what's some of the things that stand out to you, the things that you've learned?
Well, those things that you mentioned for sure, trust and authority. And then the fact that much of our history is fake, phony, and false, or misled. I think the saying is, there's a famous quote, the winners are the ones who write the history. And so the truth of the history, and we tend to repeat, we are the universe runs in a cyclical type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we're supposed to be learning from the past. But if our past that we've been taught is fake, then how can we change and adjust for the future? I think that's done on purpose. That's a whole topic for another show. But the biggest thing I personally have learned is how much power that I have within myself. That raising up myself to having the sovereignty. I don't need to file paperwork with the government to reclaim my sovereignty. I already have that. I just need to connect it into my mind and my heart, made that decision. But that was the biggest thing for me, understanding how much we have and how much control we have over our entire situation. So many people want to look externally for happiness, for validation, for approval, but that starts on the inside. And once you are in touch with your true self, then nothing can stop you. And we got to stop relying on external circumstances. Oh, if my job just paid me more, or if my wife just did X, or if my kids would act a certain way, then my life would be better. We need to start, when you're pointing the finger at somebody else, you got three more pointing back at you. So we need to start looking in the mirror and working on ourselves. That's why I've been focusing so much the last couple of 3 years on those particular items. So that's it for me.
The big one for me, above and beyond the ability to discern and having really good discernment, I've always had that ability, but now it really got tested to the highest. But the other part was there's always been a fear about talking politics. There was always a fear about coming out and speaking against big pharma or big government or anything like that. And in 2020, I had to make that decision. It was like, okay, I know this is going to cost me friends. I know it's going to cost me business. Customers don't want to do business with me. It's funny because I was looking through my address book yesterday trying to find an address for someone, and one of my previous clients who doesn't talk to me anymore because she couldn't believe my politics. We're not in alignment with hers. When we're coaching and we're doing what we're doing, she had no idea because that's not something that would come up. But when she found out, all of a sudden she stopped and said, I'm not going to work with you anymore. I'm like, okay, not a problem. And it was a decision to do that. And it's scary on looking up at it and saying, wow, should I really do that? And at every one of my friends, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But then I looked at the bigger picture and I said, if I don't do it, if I have this gift of speaking, I have the ability to get on camera and podcasts and webcasts. If I don't do that and start talking about this stuff, will there be a country to have a business in going forward? And the answer for me was no, there won't be. So we've got to do something. I think that the transitional point for me was March 19 of 2020. When we got the word from Newsom, 12 midnight, put the key in the door of your business and don't come back until we tell you. I was really in shock at that point. It was like, I remember Bruce was in the studio. He and I were having the conversation. And when that came across the waves, we were just, this is crazy. They can't stop us from doing business. And my business has always been about helping people understand what's coming next. That's the coaching that I do for businesses. That's what I've been doing forever. And now this came up and my phone was ringing off the hook after that. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And it's like, I have an answer right now. So it became my number one priority to figure out what the answer was. And that caused me to learn all this stuff. And then I'm like, well, I'm learning all this stuff. Now I got to share it. And of course, that led me to meeting Bruce and Lewis, and the list goes on. I mean, there's so many amazing people that I've met along the way. Yes, I've lost a lot of friends, no question. A lot of high school friends I've known for 40 years. Some of them, they not only unfriended me, they blocked me. Crazy. But, I've got a lot of new friends and a lot of really great people too. They don't have to be, this is the thing I think people make the mistake, Bruce. I think that people get this wrong, that they have to believe exactly as you and I believe to be our friends. And nothing could be further from the truth, right?
Absolutely. No, and that's where our society has degraded to, where, back in the day, for me, that was, 90s, back in, we could have discuss our differences and still be friends.
Yeah.
And we're not leading. It's not like we're trying to be, some type of crazy evangelist and, hey, you better get on the Trump train or else I can't be. That's not us. It's them, the other people who are triggered, have Trump derangement syndrome or whatever, that have an aversion to the truth, they have their head in the sand, whatever reason. They made those choices to distance, because it's not anything that we have done. It's their insecurities within themselves that they can't, hold up, or can't hold their own in that realm, and they just it freaks them out. So it has to do with them. It has nothing to do with us.
It really does. And I think a big piece of it, too, is that they have invested so much of who they are in the ideologies that they've taken on to believe. And now you're coming along and, you're not believing their ideologies. It makes them feel inferior in some way. And when they're like that and they don't have a counter argument, they resort to, right? They go back to the dinosaur brain, which they resort to violence and anger, right? And that's what you're seeing. A lot of this is like, if you see the interviews at the No Kings protest, right? We've seen so many of these. Why are you protesting? Oh, Donald Trump is a king. He does this. Can you give me one example? No, I can't. Maybe I shouldn't do this interview right now. It's like, again and again, we saw these videos. That's where it is they've got their pennies in a knot, and they don't know why they're angry, but they're angry because people don't believe, the goal of any society, Bruce, isn't it to have a lot of diversity? So you bring a lot of different ideas together. Any successful business, you'll put a board together and you'll have them from different backgrounds, so they look at it from different ways. And you take all of that in, and then you mix it all around and you pull out the best ideas. And that's how a company really grows. Isn't that how the country grows too? It's not about having a monoculture. That's never going to work.
Right. And it's same, not only, companies and countries, but individually, right? Yeah. I learn from other people just as much as I, think that they hope they learn from me. The iron sharpens iron. There's so much out there that, we don't know, that we can learn from other people. And as, like I said, that's where our society, and I think it's done that on purpose. These people at the, what's the name of that group, begins with a T, that does all the social engineering, right on the tip of my tongue. But these people that do all this stuff, I wish it'll come to me, but there's the social engineering that they design this stuff on purpose, and they're guiding things from behind the scenes, and they make it now where anybody of a differing opinion or ideology, you're chastised, you're, othered, you're doxxed, you're some other thing. And we're going to talk about a story later on in the show that perfectly highlights, this whole situation that we're in, and it's all driven towards division.
Really is. And we're learning.
Tavistock.
I think
Tavistock. That's the name of the
Tavistock,
think tank.
Yeah. Okay.
That does all the social engineering. Yeah.
Well, we're learning as a society too to break out of that mold. I mean, the younger generation, the Gen Z, seem to be not fitting into that mold as much as the programming and stuff that they've been exposed to. They're kind of rejecting it, and it's really interesting to see there are a lot in Gen Z who are on the right, not on the left, and they're rejecting a lot of the craziness that they've been indoctrinated into. That's really true. It's like when you have parents that are leaning right, typically the children grow up and they're left. Or if they're left, they go right. So you had a lot of left-leaning parents, and now you're having a lot of right-leaning children. They always do the opposite of what the parents do. You would know, you're a parent. Are your kids like you, or are they different?
They're most of them are leaning right. So thank God for that. Not knock on wood.
He said most. There's a key word, something in there. Most of them are leaning right.
there's one of my children that does have a little bit of a strange outlook on a few things, but overall, generally, they are on the conservative side of the scale.
That's good. That's not normally what I see, but that's really good to hear. So that means you're a good parent. You raised them up and you didn't beat them over the head and say, you've got to believe this way.
No, we were more of a free range type of parent, not one of those helicopter parents. These are the terms that these people put on it now. The hovering parent, the kids that sheltered. We let the kids get out there and experience stuff. So we did homeschool them all the way up to high school. All four of my kids went to the public high school. But yeah, I don't think none of my, well, one of my children has, or two, they went to college. Two of my kids did not. Two of them did, just for more vocational training. The other one is going for her doctorate in psychology. So she's she's the one that's all in on, as far as and she's the one that's a little bit on the left side with some things.
Well, she's jumped into the deep end of the swimming pool there. Knee deep in the swamp. Guys, if you are having trouble with Rumble, I know people, every time I see Rumble is a challenge, Rumble is a channel. We're on 2 Rumble channels, on Popular Viewpoint and Renegade Media. And we're also on YouTube at Official Renegade Media, if you want to look that up, or on X at Robert Imbriali. You can follow me there. And the same stream that you're watching now is on all those channels simultaneous. Maybe a second or two off in sync, but it's all going to the same place. All the same stream.
Cool.
All right. Gold and silver, kind of interesting. We always kind of look at this, like 41, 42, down $244.20 in 1 week. Now, people would panic about that.
We missed the high. You might as well cash it in. It's over. Gold will be zero tomorrow.
The thing that I look at here, I was telling Phoebe this morning, is like, we got to buy more. We got to buy more. It's a buying opportunity. It's down a little bit. Silver also dropped a little bit, 520 in the last week. And, it's a buying opportunity. It's like, if you haven't gotten in, it's not going to stop. If you look at the year-to-date trend, it's still on an upward trajectory. And we know it's going to go up from here. October is always, in the financial world, October is always a little bit shaky. Right? You always have this weirdness happening this time of year.
Yeah, isn't it October? I mean, most companies run on a fiscal year, which ends September. So, October is new budgets, new year, kind of getting things ready. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about gold, always buy the dip.
Yeah.
There's no way it's going, going zero. So, yeah, buy the dip for sure.
Buy the dip, and it's a hard thing to get your head around sometimes. It's like when the stock crashes, it's like, that's the time to buy it. It's on sale. And people are like, no, I can't. I don't know if it's going to go back up again. And those that get the fortitude to be able to do that usually cash in quite well. So now would be an opportunity to jump into that game. And if you want to do that, we have our buddy Matt Geiger who can help you with that. Call him 480-717-9081. You can also text him at that number or go to veritymetals.com, either /renegade or /poppy. I need to add that to this graphic. I got to remember that. Both of us are funded a little bit by Matt's work. And, if you do business with him, he does give us a little bit, and that helps keep the show on the air. And his commissions, by the way, are some of the lowest in the marketplace. So if you're looking around, want to get gold, good, because you look at the spot price and it's always, how much is it over spot, right? And that's the commission, that little margin there. His are very low. So shop around and then give him a call and see what he has to offer. He'll probably beat whatever it is. All right. So suddenly, I posted this, suddenly progressives are against progress. Wait a minute. Isn't that their whole mantra? Progressive progress? Now they don't want to build a ballroom all of a sudden. Now they're freaking out about this. Oh boy, what a story this has become this week. Huh?
It's hilarious to watch their heads explode and deliver you a little bit of propaganda at the same time. People, he's literally destroying the White House when they show the picture from that angle, but he's not touching the White House. It's the East Wing that's being revamped.
Yeah. And as all things go, everything has a life cycle, and buildings do as well. And, it's time to revamp it. One of the interesting things a lot of the presidents have been saying for, decades now, they need a ballroom. It's one of the few, presidential, buildings in the world that don't have a ballroom for some of these bigger events. And they always have to put up these tents. And it's really hard to have heads of state come out and we're in a tent. Well, aren't you the richest nation in the world? What are we doing in a tent? It's always a little bit weird. But, that's the way it has been. This is kind of funny, too. White House construction derangement syndrome is real and currently dominating the rhetoric of the nation's political left. Their sole purpose in life appears to be just getting angry over anything and everything President Donald Trump does, even when the accusations are a complete detachment from reality. Yeah. Well, we're seeing a lot of that. It's really, really true.
It's almost exclusively that. Mm-hmm. I mean, on the left, their entire mission is to do anything that's diametrically completely opposite to what President Trump is thinking or what they think he's thinking or doing. Just a perfect example of what's coming up here. Anybody in California coming up the special election, over $300 million spent on this special election so that California can take it to Trump. They just want to, he thinks he's trying to take over the world. Trump is the one who directed Texas to redistrict. All these redistricting things are happening because at Trump's direction. So Gavin Newsom has to do something unconstitutional and illegal, get take the power back from the people and put it in the legislature's hands in Sacramento so they can stick it to Trump. That's the entire thing about this Prop 50 deal.
Yeah, this Prop 50 is they're advertising everywhere, and they're getting a lot of influencers now to get on the side of yes, say yes on 50. Yes on 50 gives Newsom and his gang and whoever comes after him the ability to change the electoral map at will without consulting with, they have it right now. And this wasn't that long ago that this was voted in by the voters, by the way. They wanted to take it out of their hands because, and they're still gerrymandering it to a crazy extent anyway. But they'll have complete and total control. They can change it. They don't even ask the voters about it. And when you do that, that's the end of fair voting. We could say we're already here, but that would guarantee it going forward. There'd never be any more Republicans that would ever be able to get in.
Yep.
So anyway, Josh Hawley, he disseminated this. Got this on. This Donald Trump posted this. Senator Josh Hawley dismantles CNN narrative about President Trump's White House renovation during a live interview. When the reporter Manu Raj asked, what about just uprooting this iconic building? Hawley exposed their faux outrage instantly. Manu will just say this. I made a point yesterday that I hear all of a sudden from my liberal friends that they're very concerned about our history. Really? He says, these are the same people who tore down every statue they could get their hands on in the last 4 years. Christopher Columbus, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt. They didn't have any concern for our history then. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, the facade of the East Wing is iconic. Oh, give me a break.
Yep, they have very short memories. I mean, good grief. When you look back through history, multiple presidents have done pretty significant upgrades, renovations over the period of history. Oh, and a lot of those in the past were funded by taxpayers. This one is funded by private donations. So it's not even on the taxpayer, dole or whatever, for they're thinking that Trump just wants to turn the White House into the Trump Tower, D.C., and that's just not the case at all. And you're exactly right. They want to tear down and get rid of all the history, but now all of a sudden it's super crazy important. Come on, man.
Yeah, they didn't say anything when Obama tore it down to put a basketball court inside, right?
Right.
You know, come on.
And what Bush put in a bowling alley?
Yeah, he put a bowling alley. Who put in the swimming pool? Because it's the press room now is where the swimming pool used to be.
Is it like an FDR or something? One of those guys, because he wanted his own personal swimming pool.
So the president has the ability to make some modifications. And by the way, they keep saying it's the White House, and they keep saying that the taxpayers are paying for it. Both not true. It's the East Wing, or as Joey puts it, the left wing. Actually, the East wouldn't it be the right side? That would be the right side, Joey, when you're looking at it from the front. So it's just that East Wing that was built, in 1960 something, 62, is it? Or 42? It was a long time ago.
I don't remember. I don't know when it was built, but if you look at the top view, they're showing you all the side angles where you can kind of see and all the the stuff there. But if you look at the top view, the East Wing is a significant distance away from the actual White House itself.
Right. Yeah. And they need this ballroom. I think that, we're the only head of state that doesn't really have one. So it'll be really nice. It'll be Trump's contribution. Every president sort of leaves their mark. And, we have some people that take their take the China and run away with it. But, here it is.
See, look how far that is away. Yeah, way on the bottom there, right? The bottom is the East Wing.
Yep.
The one that's closest to me. Yeah.
Yep. Ballroom under construction, number 6.
So there you go.
It's really
more lies and propaganda.
Yeah, it's an addition. It looks like, and yeah. So I don't know. I've seen some other graphics where the overhang to the right of number 6 is what was being demolished. So maybe this one isn't as accurate as some other ones go. So I don't know. We'll have to keep looking because it's interesting. It's a story that probably shouldn't go away. It should go away because it's okay. He's doing a renovation. Everyone will be happy on opening night when they open the doors and they can see this big, beautiful ballroom, and it'll be fine at that point. But boy, the controversy stirred up around this is just absolutely insane. And again, guys, discernment, right? So much of it is not fact; it's fiction. And, like Bruce is saying, depending on the angle that you're photographing it from, it looks like the entire East Wing is demolished. It's not. It's just the facade, the way on the far end of it. Okay, that's cool. It's nice to have a little upgrade. And Trump is a builder. Who better to do it? You wouldn't want Obama building it. You saw what he's building in Illinois there.
Oh my gosh, that thing looks horrible. Whoever the one who approved that design needs to be fired, or they something that just looks horrible.
Trump apparently said he ran out of money, so it's the construction on it is stopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce. I don't know.
How do you think? Do you think the left can get some of their billionaire buddies to fund Obama's presidential library? I'm not thinking that's going to happen because they're too busy sending their money through all these, Antifa protests.
Yep. Watch this now.
You need something like this. So the Democrats freaking out about it is absolutely insane. I think the greatest irony that I saw in all of this was Hillary Clinton talking about it being the people's house. Hillary Clinton, who with her husband literally had to return furniture and silverware that they stole from the White House. That was actually the property of the people. They took it with them after their term. They had to return it because people caught them stealing the furniture. She's the one that's leading the charge complaining about this thing. It's absolutely nuts. This is for the betterment of the property. It costs the American taxpayer nothing, and it's going to add value, not just to my father's presidency, but to every president after him, because it's going to take some time to build. The reality is every president after him will get much more use and much more benefit from this incredible addition to the White House than anyone else. But again, these guys don't appreciate or understand irony, just like the No Kings rally we saw last week.
Bring back the furniture, please. Bring back the China.
So the little deeper lesson that we're going to see in here, if you go below the surface, everybody who's complaining, they are perfectly happy and content with the status quo. They don't want anything to change. They don't want anything to be any different. They want to continue doing things that the way they've been doing them their entire lives, which is screwing us over, we the people, and them getting richer and richer. If it was me, if I was the king on No King Day, I'd raise the whole freaking Washington D.C. Just make it a freaking parking lot. That's what I would do, or put a fence up around the whole thing and say this is an exact idea of what government is not supposed to become. Use it as a display, but just the idea that everybody's that's got their panties all in a wad about this, they are perfectly happy with the status quo. People sometimes have an aversion to change, and that goes way deeper on a personal level, business, all kinds of stuff. So these people are happy with the status quo. They don't want anything different, and Trump is just upsetting the apple cart.
And you know how many times the actual White House, the real White House, not the wings, have been renovated? every single time a new president comes in, there's renovations. Every single time. Tell me about history. Not the original Lincoln bedroom anymore. It's been renovated 15 million times, right? It's not the same walls, floors, ceiling. All of it's been changed.
Yep.
You know?
And they, and to the tune of, tens of millions and sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, they update it with all the security and the tunnels and the basement and all the rest of it, and the elevators and all this stuff. All this stuff is always changing. So just because the facade looks like it's never been altered, it's always being renovated. So I don't know. It's not an issue for me. What do you think, Bruce?
I don't think so either. Like I said, if it was me, I'd raise the whole thing. Just take a bulldozer to all of DC, all of the Masonic, demonic symbolism and all the stuff that's tied to that place.
Absolutely. Hey guys, you want to know where we are? I'm at renegademedia.tv or at Renegade Media on Telegram. And my buddy Bruce, you can find him over at brucepoppy.com. Look at that suit, how sharp he looks. Woo! brucepoppy.com is where you'll find everything about Bruce, what he's up to, why he's up to it, and what's coming next. Because he's got always a lot of stuff. This guy doesn't sleep. Love it.
Not much, yeah.
Love it. Well, yeah. Sleeping's overrated anyway, isn't it?
Well, they say you can sleep when you're dead. I got too much stuff to get accomplished. I mean,
That's right.
I'm like the Blues Brothers. I'm on a mission from God.
All right. We are today, Bruce, on day 23 of the shutdown. Day 23.
Listen to what she said. I know Americans will suffer, but I need to use their suffering as leverage. You have a complete contradiction. The Democrats are going to let the American families suffer. They're going to let pregnant mothers and people who are on WIC not have food to use them as leverage? I mean, you have one party that's using the American people as leverage and the American people's suffering as leverage, and then you have Republicans that are actually trying to serve the American people. Are you kidding me? I think the American people are extremely upset about this. I can share with you the people in my community. They don't want their suffering to be used as leverage. And this is a political stunt. We put out a clean CR. No games, no gimmicks, no partisan wish list to continue to govern how government is supposed to work. And Catherine Clark wants to use suffering families as leverage. Just let that sink in for a minute.
So Mike Johnson had Catherine Clark's statement on a loop yesterday, put a television in the Capitol, just kept playing it over and over and over again. And they're trying to deny it, and she didn't say it. He's like, can you see the video? Are your eyes open? Are your ears working? It's right there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the whole finger pointing thing, in my viewpoint, unpopular as it might be, we would not be in this mess had Congress do their job from the beginning. They're supposed to have appropriation bills for this and that every time for everything, and then they screw the pooch. They don't do nothing. They do all this grandstanding, campaigning, and this pointing fingers, and they don't do their freaking job and actually fund the government, because that's what the House of Representatives is supposed to do. Is they're the ones controlling the purse strings, allegedly, right? So they never do their job properly, and then it gets up against it. Oh, we're out of money. We're gonna freak out. We do all these CRs, these omnibus bills, blah blah blah, continuing all this stuff because Congress didn't do their job the way they're supposed to from Jump Street. So I'm not a fan of this finger pointing, blaming Republican, the Democrat shutdown, Republican shutdown. If you just do your job, we wouldn't be in this mess.
But here's the thing. It's still Biden's spending levels, right?
Oh,
so the
absolutely.
clean CRs, we're just going to continue spending under the Biden administration because there's been no new budget. 1996, I think, was the last time we had an actual budget. It's like,
yeah,
that's insanity.
That was the last time Congress did their job, was before the year 2000.
Yeah, so we're just continuing, there's nothing new added. There's no pork added to it. They just want to continue it the way it is. And the Democrats are saying, well, no, we want to add these things back in that you guys cut. Funding NPR, PBS, right? And how about healthcare for illegals? And Trump's like, we're not funding that. We're what, 37 or 38, or was it 38 trillion? Did we just pass 38 trillion in debt now?
Yeah, we just ticked up to the next trillion. There was a new trillion in spending the last quarter.
Wow.
Yeah, so don't tell me. I mean, we got just print more money. That's all they got to do. There's no such thing as no money. They got printing machines up there at the Treasury Department that are sitting idle, doing nothing. Print some more money and we'll solve the problem.
Yeah, well, that's the time to buy gold. That would be your signal, because the value of the U.S. dollar would 100%. Drop. Yeah. Get in on it. Get as much as you can. Crazy. How about an EO? I don't know if it'd have much power to end mail-in voting. Let's see.
Doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you explain on that?
Well, that's a very off-topic, just really quickly. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in, they even ask me, they asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. He said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it.
Yeah. Your dog gets 2 ballots, too, in California. You didn't know that?
Who's in charge of making sure that those canines get purged from the voter rolls? I know.
Yeah, I know.
It's insanity. Though a quick correction, according to AI, I just put in there just to find out. There's a total of 32 countries allow mail-in voting in some form or fashion. There's only 11 countries that are, wholesale for all voters. So we aren't the only ones that use it, but the other ones are just as corrupt as the United States, a bunch of the globalist leaders. But the idea for mail-in vote absentee ballots, is what they used to be called, was for people in military, overseas, disabled for just certain specific situations. You could do that. And then now they brainwashed us into believe that it has something to do with access. That you have to mail in. It's convenience. They want more people to participate. So if you get a mail-in ballot, you're more likely to vote than to go to the place on that particular day. Blah blah blah. So it's a bunch of hogwash just to have blanket mail-in voting. And like he said, it is one of the most corrupt forms because you can't send out ballots in the mail to every single address and expect you're going to have clean results. It just doesn't work like that.
Well, it starts with the corrupted voter rolls are very dirty. If you ran a direct mail company and your mailing list was that dirty, you'd be out of business in 10 minutes, right? Sending ballots to people who have moved away years ago and they're still getting ballots, and people buy a home and they get ballots for people who haven't lived there. 3 people back, who used to own that house, they're still getting them. So it starts there. The other thing that they do is when the ballots come in, they're not doing signature verification because you don't have a signature on file, right? It's just, so the signature verification, one of the things that happened in Arizona is they turned it off pretty much. I mean, they said, oh, if there's a line, it matches, you know what I mean? And they just lowered the bar so low that all of them got verified. All the signatures were deemed valid, even though it might have been the same person signing 1,000 ballots, didn't matter. And that's the other thing. And then, then you go into the machines and you say, okay, the machines will kick out ballots that, aren't formatted correctly or aren't filled out correctly or whatnot. And then the worst part of it is the machines literally are a black box. And you can go in remotely to these machines. How do we know that that's true? Oh, they're not supposed to be connected to the internet. They're supposed to be air-gapped. But then they tell you, if you need tech support, call us and give us your machine number and we'll log into it remotely. How do you do that if it's air gapped? Right? So, and they can change.
Special internet.
They can alter the voting tally. They can switch votes. Why do we know this? Because in Venezuela, the ones who invented this software, that's what it was designed for, and it was designed not to leave a footprint. So there's no digital footprint that you can follow. At the end, you get a spreadsheet. And you get the numbers, but there's no audit trail. You can't go back and look at where those numbers came from. So it is one of the most corrupt things that we've ever seen. So you compile bad voter rolls and you add in mail-in voting, which is in California is the law. It's now permanent. And then you count everything on the machines. Where in that do you see a free and fair election?
We haven't. There isn't. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And their algorithms inside the machine, and be able to prove that. That's why Tina Peters is in jail, because she got the evidence of their malfeasance. Right? You'd mentioned Smartmatic. They were recently the leaders of that company were recently brought up on fraud and bribery and all kinds of stuff because they were cajoling and making people pay to get their machines and stuff. So they're corrupt. And then from the algorithm standpoint, super easy to set up and almost impossible to find. Republican or whoever you want to win, can get 0.75 votes. And then the one you want to win, 1.25 votes. And at the end of the day, it ends up being, a 49-51 situation that we're so close and everything. That's just not reality.
That's fractional voting, which in the real world does not exist, right? If you check off Donald Trump for president, that's one vote. It's not 0.75 of a vote. This idea of fractional voting is just, it's just another layer of corruption. And, you could stand right beside these voting machines and you can't see it happening because it's all black box. You can't see the digits running through the CPU, right? You don't know what's going on.
Yep.
So,
and
unless that
changes,
changes,
to get inside those machines. You can't get in there unless you're part of the company.
Exactly.
It's a proprietary stuff.
Yep. No, I can't. I can't do this the way I want to do this.
You all right? Get a drink of water, Rob.
No, I'm just trying to get this screen up for you, but I can't do it. Excuse me, the way I want to. So I'm just going to put you full screen, and you're going to talk about Switch USA, and then I'm going to put the screen up with the link on it.
Okay. Here we are. I mean, how many people, if you're paying any attention whatsoever, I saw a TikTok video yesterday or the day before talking about Johnson and Johnson. You've heard of them, right? The baby powder, no more tears. For years and years and years, they've been involved in lawsuits, and I can't verify the number, but I've heard they spent over the past dozen or so years in upwards of $30 billion defending themselves in court and paying off, trying to make their malfeasance go away or stay hidden. We've lost trust, right? When we started off the show, we talked about the trust and the leadership, what we've learned since 2020. We've learned we cannot trust these companies, these manufacturers, the stuff that we buy. Robert Kennedy Jr. is exposing that. Many people have been aware that what blew my mind several years ago when I realized that FDA, right? We know how corrupt these three-letter agencies, but they're supposed to be looking out for us consumers. The stuff they allow and the things that you and I consume every single day, many of those ingredients are banned and illegal in other countries. Just think about that for a second. So these companies that make these products that have poisons, toxins, cancer-causing stuff, fillers, synthetic items that are no good for the human body, they know how to make it because they can't sell that stuff in other places. So they know how to make it, but they give us Americans the crappy stuff, the stuff that's causing cancer and sicknesses and all kinds of other maladies, sicknesses and diseases. So what do we do? Are we stuck? We have to go and buy this stuff from Walmart, Target, Amazon, continuing to poison ourselves, committing suicide every day. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts. Or is there alternatives? I'm here to tell you I've been shopping this way for 3.5 years, and I love it. Go to switchusa.info, switchusa.info to be able to learn some more information. And if it resonates with you, you want to find out more, fill out the form. I will call you and we'll give you the details, show you the store, help you make the switch, and you will be glad you did. I was just talking with a guy today. He said he's in his 60s, and he was telling me, I've lost trust. I can't trust anybody. Can't trust the government, can't trust these companies, can't trust anybody. I said, I'm right there with you, brother. But the company that we deal with that supplies all of our stuff, they recently, earlier this year, was awarded one of the most trusted brands in America by independent study. So go to switchusa.info, see what's there. If it resonates with you, fill out the form, and I personally will call you, show you the store, and help you make the switch, and your health and your finances will be better for it.
I'm just going to put this up real quick. SwitchUSA.info. I was trying to get Bruce to come up on this shot, but I got him on there, but I don't have audio. So something to work on for the technical side. So SwitchUSA.info is where you go. You want to support Bruce? Help him out. Help yourself out. Buy cheaper, get better products. Right, Bruce?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Better quality products at the same or better pricing than what you're already getting. A couple of clicks of a mouse and a couple of days of stuff's on your doorstep. It's a no-brainer. Or you can continue funding the child trafficking and all the LGBTQ, the abortion, Planned Parenthood. Because when you shop at Walmart and these other places, that's what they're doing with the money you give them. So they're funding all this stuff. So you can continue to fund them, or you can do something different. It's up to you.
All right. Let me see. This is an echo, but I got that.
Echo.
Dems are really good at three things, according to Donald Trump. Let's listen.
Nobody says anything about that, but they mentioned it the other way. No, the Democrats play a very dirty game. It's all they're good at. They're good at a couple of things: cheating on elections and playing very dirty. And they have one good trait: they stick together. They stick together. They stick together through the worst policies that anybody's ever seen. It's unbelievable how they stick together. And I respect them for sticking together, but it's a dead party because their policies are no good. Okay.
It's a dead party because their policies are no good. They do stick together like glue. And why that is, people always ask the question, why are the Democrats that are always voting the same way? They vote as a block. They don't vote as individuals, and the Republicans don't seem to do that. What's the magic behind it is threats, right? They are kept in line, and if they don't toe the party line, they pull the funding. They'll primary them. They'll allow the media to destroy them. It's just one of those things. They have a lot of power on the Democratic side. They have the media in their back pocket. And if they don't like someone, they're going to take them out. That's why they are so against RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, right? They crossed the line. Oh, God, you can't do that. You crossed the Rubicon. These people are evil now, right?
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
they will eat their own in a heartbeat. I mean, just look. When's the guy from New Jersey that recently got brought up on charges, that senator up there, I can't even remember his name. He's persona non grata.
Yeah.
That Cuellar down in Texas, Democrat. He got thrown under the bus because he's corrupt. So they're not afraid to eat their own. And I think the next person that's on their list is going to be John Fetterman.
After what we're seeing this week, yep. He is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the problem. The Republicans, conservatives, we're really good at that circle firing squad because we are the independent free thinker, not towing the party line, right? We want to have different ideas, but a lot of times we're so stuck in those ideas that we're not even willing to compromise and work with people that have the same ideology as us. So that circle firing squad, we end up shooting each other before we take anything out on the Democrats.
Yep. Yeah, it's sometimes it's frustrating. You always have, the Rand Pauls of the world who kind of think their own way and they're very independent thinking, and they're not playing the party game. But that's kind of why they're there, and that's why they're on this side of the aisle, is because they're not going to do that. And then Trump gets frustrated with it. I can see he attacks Rand Paul a lot, but Rand Paul kind of takes it in stride and goes, "Oh well, so be it." Right?
Right.
Yeah.
The newest Thomas Massey has been in Trump's hairs lately.
Yep.
So yeah, there's that's the whole fallacy of the two-party system. I think the labels should go away. Even the founding fathers, you want to do some research in history, there was some pretty intense quotes from the founding fathers about the two-party thing. I mean, John Adams said the two-party system is one of the greatest evils under our Constitution. Thomas Jefferson said if he could not go to heaven, except he had to choose a party to get there, he wouldn't go. So, I mean, that's pretty strong.
That's pretty
severe. If you had to choose Democrat or Republican to get into heaven, Thomas Jefferson said, "Sorry, I'm out. I'm not choosing either one."
Wow.
I mean, so that just tells you that from the founding of our country, how much these guys despise this two-party Masonic binary choice system that they funnel us into to create division and discord among the people.
You a big sports fan?
I used to be, not so much anymore because it's all fake, phony, and false, most of it.
Yeah. FBI raids an NBA gambling ring tied to the Italian mafia. More than 30 people arrested, including Trailblazers coach and Heat's Terry Rozier. I don't know these guys because I don't watch basketball, but kind of interesting. They had a poker scheme going on where they used, get this, X-ray tables that would read cards. If they're face down on the table, they'd be able to read them, and they know who had the best hands. They use wireless devices and chip tray analyzers, and they were tied apparently to the Italian mafia.
It gets even worse than that. Not just poker games, but they uncovered, I think that Terry Rozier guy who was with the Heat. These guys, what they'll do is they will take themselves out of the game. They will fake an injury to get out of the game, and then because they're doing that, these people know that they're making the money to bet on the under of these guys' stats, because you can bet over and under, and how many points he's going to score, how many free throws, this and that and the other. So these people take themselves out of the game. These players, they get kickback payoff, and then people make tens of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars by massively betting on the under of these guys' things. It's a complete crooked racket. In most of our sports, NBA is probably the worst. NFL is a close second. Out there, maybe baseball a little bit. Hockey, is probably one of the more clean or truer sports out there.
Hockey is a little bit truer, but you know what they did in the past? I think it's the past 4 years now. Now they allowed gambling on hockey because they never allowed it before. But the money was just too good for them to ignore. So now they allow, you can gamble on hockey. Now you can bet on games. You know?
I mean, NBA is horrible. I haven't watched an NBA game since Michael Jordan retired.
Now, my question for you, Bruce, is the FBI is doing this. Do you think there's bigger fish for them to fry at this point?
Way bigger. Yeah, this is. Yeah, when I saw the story, I was like, so this is all they got to do. You know, we got these people tearing up and burning down federal buildings and all these insurrections going on all over the country.
Let's see.
And the FBI is worried about a gambling ring.
Adam Schiff, Maxine Waters. You just go down the list. Low hanging fruit. What are we doing with this? Do we really care about this?
Letitia James, Fannie Willis. Hey, how about expose the 2020 situation and that? I mean, I'm sure they got to be doing that somewhere. So yeah, just going after NBA people for an illicit gambling ring.
Okay, yeah, like it's illegal.
Better stuff they can do.
But where does it rank? You know what I mean? It doesn't rank very high in my book. That's what hit me when I saw this story. I was like, come on, really, guys? Is that what you got?
Yep.
Oh, brother.
Well, I mean, they got that, and then they're trying to convince us that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. So,
yeah. They're I don't know. Candace Owens was taking the week off because she's been
she's got some heat on her, man.
Oh boy, has she ever got some heat on her. Sean Farish, by the way, was really against her and came out and said so this week, so she blocked him. And he goes, I'm wearing it as a badge of honor. I'm like, I don't know, the more I look at this, the more I think she's really onto something here. She's really over the target.
I mean, she's coming hard. I mean, the most recent thing out of her mouth was, it's the Trump administration who's guilty of killing Charlie Kirk, in those words. I mean, she went down the Israel road and, she's still having a lawsuit with, the Macrons over there in France about, Macron's wife being a dude.
She has the receipts on that, though. She has the photos.
I know.
Come on, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out, but yeah, she's gone hard on this whole Charlie Kirk thing, and she's not somebody that in the past that I would consider a sensationalist. She likes to bring forward stuff after she just doesn't say stuff off of the cuff, right? She has some reason or another for the angle she's taking, and whether or not that's for clicks and more notoriety and who knows. But yeah, she's coming hard, and many people are coming down on her for sure.
She she's not into that, and she is really betting her whole career. I mean, who puts everything on red? You know what I mean? That's what she's doing right now, is betting the house on this story. So she has, I think, the receipts, because she's not one, like you said, that flies off the cuff. Not at all.
Yep.
So Emerald Robinson put this out, Bruce, and it really speaks to this FBI thing. Everybody knows the Democrats will arrest and jail President Trump and his administration officials once they return to power. In fact, Democrats are openly discussing criminal charges against Trump officials in Washington. It's a zero-sum game now. So this is why I'm saying, why is the FBI going after this NBA stuff? Kash Patel having to come to the podium, having to be briefed on it. Look at all this hours and time. We're burning daylight here, folks.
Yep.
Nope.
She's not far from the truth there. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not for the the tit for tat. You guys do it, so we're going to do it. Let's just, how about operate underneath the rule of law? We haven't done that for so very long. And that's why I'm in favor of removing all parties from the situation. You vote on the people and their ideas. It shouldn't matter what color, or if you're an elephant or a jackass.
Well, the big law firms, Perkins Coie and all these other, they apparently are working on these cases right now, building cases against Trump, so that when he's out of power, they'll have access to him. So this is all happening. It's not like, oh, it's a mystery. No, it's happening. That's why she's saying that. She says all this is building right now.
Yep.
Well, according to our buddy Steve Bannon, there might be another way.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
Talk about heads exploding. And trust the plan. This is, come on. If when this gets revealed, I don't know how and that, what type of gymnastics they're going to have to pull legally, constitutionally, and otherwise. But evidently they have a plan. So we got to trust the plan.
Well, I'm not sure if the Constitution says they can't serve more than 2 consecutive terms. Now, he wasn't in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe that's the game that they can play here. It's not consecutive.
Yeah. Oh, but can you imagine the no king stuff that's going on now? Can you imagine when and if that happens, that he gets it in 28? He will be president in 28, according to Bannon. Holy cow. Talking about heads exploding.
Yeah, well, the No Kings was very. They lied. So much of the mass media lied at how big those protests were. They said, there's 300,000. There was like 800 people, and they showed a lot of the footage they showed was from previous protests. We went through that on Monday, and people were like, "Really? Is that really?" Rachel Maddow was absolutely, positively the worst. 3 million people in Boston. Blah blah blah. No, that was the Boston Marathon. That was 2017.
But I could just see it's going to be epic to watch the heads explode. Talk about Trump derangement syndrome now. Yeah, wait till that happens.
Well, the reality, Bruce, and we have to remember that the other side are the minority, but their voices are amplified through the media, so it looks bigger, right, than it really is. And I think most of the population who really understand what's going on or paying attention to it are not upset about Trump in power. And there's a fringe that is, and they're very loud.
Yep, 100%. Even Q talks about that. They take the fractional minority, and it's like being brought through a big speaker system, megaphone, to make it seem, because the transgender stuff, it's probably less than 1% of the population of the United States believes in that type of stuff, but yet we're thinking everybody's a transgender, some form, fashion, or another.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yes, I agree 100%, and that's been one of the things that's still keeping us from turning this ship around back to a constitutional republic is the media. And so, however that gets shaked out, turned around and put upside down, because we know, you and I, people like us are the media nowadays. The mainstream media is essentially dead, and I don't even know, people who watch that stuff. But it's over and over and over again. So that's part of the brainwashing and propaganda that they push out all the time, and they're all in lockstep with their 4 a.m. CIA talking points.
Exactly. I have a helper on my desk oftentimes, and the little corner of my desk that I don't have anything, that's where this guy's going to hang out. It's a tiny little corner there, little space. He's a big cat, but boy, he loves to hang out and help out when he can. He gets fed the good stuff, Pet Club food. And Bruce, I saw a box come in for you for you guys the other day from Pet Club, because I know you feed your dogs this food as well. Tell us a little bit about what your experience is with it.
It's been fantastic. I mean, many people know, I'll say it again. We have two dogs, an 18-year-old year-old Chug, a Chihuahua Pug mix. We inherited from my wife's dad. Thing was on its last leg. When we were doing Truth Tour stuff, my kids didn't want to babysit it anymore because they're afraid the thing was going to die on their watch.
Oh.
But we got turned on to the Pet Club stuff, and good grief, it seemed like within 2 weeks she was rejuvenated. Now, she runs around now. It's 18 years old.
I saw that.
When she runs, it's quite funny. She kind of gallops. It's very, her cadence, her gait is pretty funny when she does it, being so old. But yeah, she's jumping all around. Her eyes were graying over, the gray fogginess in the eyes. Those have cleared up. And the only thing we did was start feeding her this stuff from Pet Club 247. The food, the treats, and some of their supplements has been amazing, life changing. Extended my dog's life 100%.
And by the way, on the very left-hand side of that photo there, you see those bottles that look like supplement bottles. That's the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and they have other mushroom mixes there as well. That is for humans. So if you're thinking about wanting to improve your health and boost your immune system, this is a good supplement to try. RenegadeMedia.tv/Pet Club is where you'll go, and you'll either sign up under me or sign up under Bruce. And you can just be a retail customer. You don't have to resell it. We're not going to force you to do that, and certainly we're not going to nag you. Hey, have you sold any this week? Did you make any? This is up to you. If you want your pet to be healthier, last longer, live happier, live healthier, look into this stuff. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you order it and your pets don't like it, no problem. Call them, send it back. Not a big deal.
Yep. And they have coffee for humans that's got the Coriolis versicolor in it as well. The coffee is really tasty. So I've, when I had my oral surgery for my implants, my dentist's mind was blown at how quickly I healed. Same thing happened when I had my pacemaker changed out in 2023, December 23. When I went for my follow-up, the mind was blown how quickly I healed up, and with no infection, no issues whatsoever. It's because when I had that, I doubled up on my mushroom, my Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and it boosts and modulates the immune system and makes it function like it was designed to, like a well-oiled machine, like a Porsche.
RenegadeMedia.tv/Pet Club. Thank you, Pet Club, for supporting us. And thank you guys who buy the food from them as well for supporting us and helping our channel grow. It costs money to put these shows on. We've got a lot of equipment in here, and, we got to upkeep. Always something breaking. Kind of crazy. All right, on the theme of health, let's listen to this guy talking about health insurance.
All right, the health insurance industry is an absolute sham. I don't know how I'm paying $1,500 a month for health insurance, but every single person in my policy has a $6,000 copay, which means I've been going to the doctor all year. I thought my copays went towards our premiums and the amount that we had to pay to get coverage. However, it doesn't. My wife just had a serious event. She had to go to the hospital. She had to have life-saving surgery. And we got a bill in the mail from the hospital for over $3,000 for this procedure. And I'm thinking back, I'm paying $1,500 a month for this health insurance. I've personally paid thousands of dollars over the course of this year in copays for myself and stuff that I had to go to the doctors for. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm going to spend $1,500 a month for the next 12 months. What is that? 18 grand. And then I have to spend $6,000 a person just to get them to cover things. So you're looking at, we have 5 people in our family. If all of us have to go to the hospital, that's $30,000 in copays that we have to pay on top of the $18,000 in monthly charges to actually get coverage. As a father of 3, I'm strongly considering canceling our health insurance policy, which feels very irresponsible and wrong, but I can't remember the last time I spent over $48,000 in a year in health costs between copays and health insurance and all of this stuff. If I just pay cash, I'm never going to pay anywhere near that amount. For instance, the surgery my wife just had, if we paid cash on that surgery and we didn't have insurance, it would have ran us about $1,200. But because we had insurance and the insurance wasn't going to cover it, we have to pay what the insurance was going to pay, which is over $3,000. Are other families seeing the same thing? Maybe I'm just being unreasonable and crashing out here, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Please drop a comment.
100% truth.
It's not the only one. I'm seeing a lot of videos like this. I guess the algorithm has caught on that this is something that I'm interested in hearing more about. Yeah, it's been a long time, 1995, I think, since I've had actual health insurance. And I realized pretty much right away, it's like you're paying into it, tens and tens of thousands of dollars. He's $1,800 a month. That's more than most people's mortgage.
100%. It's yeah. Don't. That's a bandwagon you don't want me on, because I could riff and rant on this all day. Insurance, especially health insurance, all insurance really is the biggest scam on the planet. Biggest scam on the planet. And he's 100. When Obamacare came out, I did not have insurance. I looked into it. Right. I have some pre-existing conditions, right, with my cardiac stuff. Many people know. So when I was going to have to pay through Obamacare, right?
Yeah.
Close to $7,000 a month for my premium. And then on top of that, there was like a $15,000, deductible that I would have to pay. So I would have to pay close to $25,000 before the insurance company picked up $1 on my shit. That's just irresponsible. It's just, talk about that guy thinking he's irresponsible. It's irresponsible to give all your money to these people, right? You're better off not being insured. And the convolutes and the mind games that they play, the media and all these. It's healthcare. If you don't have insurance, you don't have access to healthcare. Well, I didn't have all my cardiac stuff. I never got denied any coverage whatsoever. I go into an emergency room. They always paid. They always treated me. They would send me the bill. I didn't have the money. And whatever, but now with that, it's just you can negotiate, like he said. Self-pays are way cheaper, and these insurance companies, the doctors know if a procedure could pick a number, say it costs $1,000, the doctor will bill the insurance company $5,000 because they know they're going to get probably $500 or $600 from the insurance company for that thing. So that's all a paperwork money shell game that they play. So yeah, insurance is completely worthless for somebody who's normal and healthy. I mean, if you have some ongoing situation, you need different things, that's a completely different story. You can look into some kind of catastrophic policy. There needs to be some type of overhaul of our insurance system. And we've been talking about this for decades now, both parties. Whatever happened to it that remember Trump first time around talking about having them posting what the fees are for this and that and the other, so you can shop around and say, oh, this doctor will do this procedure for $200, this doctor will do it for $175, or hey, this guy over here is going to do it for $100. Same thing. So I've never seen any fruition of this listed itemized situation. And then you get the bills from the hospital, the doctor. If anybody puts a stethoscope on you, then they're going to send you a bill. Just count that in. You're going to get bills from the emergency room physician. You're going to get emergency bills from the emergency room, from the hospital physicians. I mean, it's just insane. They just are screwing people over left and right.
Yes, Trump signed an executive order to push that through again, price transparency. We're supposed to know before, we get the bill, how much things cost. And you could just say yes or no to it. But you're right. It's a lot cheaper when you're paying cash than when you come in with insurance. And when you come in with insurance, you can't pay cash. Did you know that? If you have insurance, you have to use the insurance. You can't pay cash if you have insurance.
Oh, that don't fly with me.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it. Yeah, crazy the way it works out.
It's criminal. I mean, it's a complete scam that they're screwing people over, and they have been for decades. This is why we the people need to stand up and get away from the pharmaceutical industrial complex, which includes the medical industrial complex, and back to the way things God intended stuff. And if we would live our lives in such a manner that aligned with the divine and use stuff that's on the planet that God put here to heal our bodies, we wouldn't need all the pharmaceutical stuff and get you into sickness and disease that you have to manage and maintain your entire life.
Bingo. They call us fascists, Bruce, don't they? Is that what they call us? They call us fascists. So here's a woman who posted a video explaining what fascism really is. This is really interesting.
Whenever people hear the word fascism, they immediately think far right. But here's the thing a lot of people don't know is that word was rewritten after World War II. Because if people actually knew today where that word originates from, then they probably would have a political fall apart. The National Fascist Party was originated in Italy in 1919 by Benito Mussolini. And he started his career as a socialist. Yep, Mussolini was actually a journalist. He was an editor at the socialist newspaper Avanti. He organized strikes and labor protests. He was raised in a Marxist household. The only reason he split from the Socialist Party is he thought that the class struggle narrative was actually dividing people. Not only that, but he supported the war that Italy was getting in, unlike the socialists of his time. Fascism was not conservative, it wasn't capitalist, it was actually a third position, with a mix of socialism and state-controlled nationalism. Under fascism, you could own a business, but the state would control how you ran the business. And the only reason you could own a business if it was in for the state's benefit. You could work, but your labor belonged to the state and not to yourself. Their slogan literally was, everything in the state, nothing out of the state, and nothing against the state. That's not freedom, that is total centralized control. So no, fascism isn't some right-wing disease. It's a social mutation that worships the state and conquers individual freedom. And that's why when modern left uses things like government, corporations, and censorship to enforce ideology, maybe they shouldn't be throwing around the word like fascist so loosely.
Absolutely.
It's called projection.
Projection is exactly what it is, and they call us this Antifa, anti-fascist. They're fascists. It's weird, weird.
From that definition, and I did some looking into this because that word fascist, as we hear it today, didn't even exist before that Mussolini guy. That word only came into existence in 1919, 1922, something like that. But yeah, she's 100% correct. But if you look up at the definition of fascism, that is exactly what the left is doing.
Yeah,
they want state control. They want everything to run through the state and us to worship the state essentially. But yeah, if we were fascist, we would not. And if there were kings, there would not be any of this stuff going on. That would be quashed immediately. And it's all projection. Just think anything that the left says that we on the right do, they're projecting. It's them.
Well, the third point there is you can't speak out against the state, which is censorship. Right. Is the right for censorship or against censorship? Who's censoring? Zuckerberg? Is he a right winger? Is he far right? Yeah. Did you know that eating meat is worse for the planet in some cities than others?
Eating meat is worse for the planet?
Exactly. That's the reaction I was looking for. This is actually in the Washington Post. These guys are crazy. This is a story they actually came up with.
Okay.
Yeah. This is going to waste our time on this. This is what they want us to read. Really, this is news, hard hitting news, right?
So they actually paid somebody to write this stuff.
To actually do some survey that says eating meat is worse for the planet in some cities, and you can look up your city. They did all the programming to make this thing. You can look it up too.
Wow.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So where is it safe to eat meat?
Anywhere you want, baby. Anywhere you want, and the more the better.
That's it. That's the carnivore answer I was looking for.
That's the answer we're looking for. Hey, this was spotted in Las Vegas. Don't get vaccinated. This is from the Wilmore Funeral Home. They would know.
So that's actually an advertisement for a funeral home.
Yep.
So they're trying to kill their business or what? But
they're just letting you know we've seen enough vaccinated deaths to say, because they can't do the embalming. They have because the blood clots are just too severe. They can't pull the blood out and replace it with the formaldehyde. So yeah, it's amazing, huh?
Yeah. I'm glad I haven't.
This is where we are. This is kind of cute. Hillary Clinton, it's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it. I may name it the Monica Lewinsky Ballroom, Trump says. I love it.
God level trolling skills that guy has.
Does he ever? It's fun.
And the rest of his administration is catching on. So they're playing a lot of the similar games as far as trolling. I saw, they've come out with a poll recently, not to change the subject, but the negative press that RFK Jr. gets, that Elon gets, and that Pete Hegseth gets, it's 100% of the press is negative against Hegseth, right? It's like 90-some% for Elon, and high 80s, close to 90% for RFK, and then Pete Hegseth, it says all this. It says, "Hey, Elon and RFK, you guys need to up your game.
Step it up." Exactly. Oh, brother. Bruce, we are running to the end of our show. Thank you so much for being part of the festivities today.
That was fun. Monica Lewinsky Ballroom. I can just see it.
I love it. I really love it. I think that, he's got next level skills, no question.
And the tables will be a little bit higher, so there can be more room underneath.
Hey. Brother. Guys, thank you for participating in chat. I've been loving watching. I'm going to go back and read because I can't read them all when we're live, but also go back and look at your comments, and both on Bruce's channel and my channel as well, guys. And we'll be back Monday with the movement. And Bruce, when is the next Bruce Poppy show coming up?
I'm working on stuff, man. I'm sorry. There's so much with what I'm doing with the campaign and the stuff that I'm building on the back end. I'm trying to decide, because once I do it, I want to be able to do it consistently. So I'm working every can. I'm putting out shorts, short stuff on my YouTube channel and
geez,
TikTok.
I thought you were putting your
Facebook.
actual shorts out on the hanger. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, well, I can do that too. Whatever's going to get me more views, I don't care. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I'm working on some stuff that's going to be mind blowing, and it's going to change people's lives, and that's what I'm pushing for.
Let's keep going. People need it more than ever. Don't lose heart, people. I know it's a little challenging. October has been a strange month, and we got to keep the faith, keep the vision, keep your eye on the goal, and know that we're going to get there. Yes, it'll be bumpy along the way, but we knew it was going to be. No surprise. Appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, we'll be back on Monday with the Movement Show, and we'll see if we can get Bruce to give us a short or something. Maybe we can play during that show as well. Yeah. I don't have.
I can
Bruce's
make that happen for sure.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Well, then we'll have Bruce's essence on Monday's show. Look forward to it. Guys, lots of love to all of you. Appreciate you, Bruce. Thank you so much. And I have some packages here I'm going to bring over to you in just a few minutes.
Excellent.
All right.
I love the delivery service, Robert. Thank you.
Your landlord is on the way. No. Good night, everyone.